For me, do I want to keep this car? Good morning, world, and good morning, YouTube. If you're returning, thank you again for coming back to the Team Scat Cat channel. If you are a new viewer, please, if you feel so inclined, give me that subscribe button tap. Also, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And also, if you feel so inclined, give me a comment as well. But if you are new, welcome to the Team Scat Cat channel. So, YouTube, I just woke up doing my day off morning routine, which is usually about this. I grab my phone, open up my YouTube app, and I see what is new for my subscriptions. It's pretty much what I do now on my days off or on the weekends or before I'm about to shoot a video. So today, as you could see, we got a couple of the featured things here, nothing too crazy. What I was doing right before I pulled out this camera, started making this video, I was on Tall Guy Car Reviews channel and I was checking out his latest video, because at the time of me shooting this video, it came out about a day ago, something like that. So, you know, that's what I was doing. So there you go. There's the Tall Guy Car Reviews channel. If you guys haven't seen his latest video, go check it out. He's gonna review a Supra. It was actually a pretty good video. I'm always gonna reference Tall Guy Car Reviews because that's basically the reason that I got into YouTube. So if you guys are on this channel and you don't know who the Tall Guy is, then I mean, well, one, thank you for, you know, checking back in and subscribing to my channel. But I think you may have done a little bit backwards, because the Tall Guy is he's up here. I'm like down there. So go check out Tall Guy Car Reviews channel. I'll put up the little card right there to his latest video, so you guys can check that out. But anyway, YouTube, that stuff aside, today is the start of an extended weekend for me. At the time of this recording, it's going to be the Labor Day weekend. I've been doing my videos a little bit sooner rather than later, so this way I'm always at least a week or 2 weeks ahead of my weekly schedule to send you guys videos. So when you guys see this, it'll be after the Labor Day weekend. But right now, at the time of this recording, is the beginning of my Labor Day weekend. So in celebration of my Labor Day weekend, I'm gonna go get myself a little treat. But I wouldn't be taking you guys along to get that treat with me if it wasn't gonna be another video for the channel. So today's topic of conversation is gonna be, I'll tell you what, I don't like doing like the financial videos and stuff like that, but just because of my experiences with how my two Mopars went, because they're totally different plans that I'm on for those Mopars, I felt like it's a little bit easier for me to discuss it now. So that's why we're gonna do this video today. So I'm sure I'll get some backlash here and there in the comments, or, you know, whatever, but it is what it is. If you got that energy to give me that backlash in the comment, then I wanna thank you preemptively for logging me that view. So thanks to you guys for helping me log that view. But anyway, today's topic of conversation is gonna be financing versus lease. So in this video, I'm not gonna say what is right and what is wrong. I'm not gonna say what you should or what you shouldn't do. I'm just gonna give my, you know, obviously my biased opinions between leasing and financing, some possible factors that could lead to you wanting to lease or wanting to finance, and then also my personal background when it comes to leasing and or financing. But I think that's enough of me yapping just in the crib. I think we're gonna get in the Hellcat and we're gonna continue this conversation from there. So I will see you guys when we're in the Hellcat. All right, and we're off. So I'm gonna try my best from keeping this very long-winded, because as I said, I am not an expert on leasing versus financing. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just, like I said, my biased opinions on leasing versus financing. I guess I get to go through the sprinklers here, so the car gets a little pre-washed before I wash it tonight, huh? But anyway, YouTube, so let's get into it. Leasing versus financing. Well, in my mind, it really depends on a couple of aspects, and I'm sure a lot of those aspects are familiar to a lot of you who have, you know, thought about leasing versus financing, or who have, you know, tried to get advice on leasing versus financing. But here's what I think. I think it depends first and foremost on, you know, your financial situation. I think it depends on what you're looking to get out of the vehicle, or the vehicle, I guess, whatever you might be trying to lease or finance. And also, I think it depends on what you're looking for in the future. So that's what I'll kind of get into here in this video. So first and foremost, your financial situation. I mean, honestly, if your financial situation is bad, you probably shouldn't be looking into leasing or financing a vehicle. I would focus on, getting your credit score back up. I would focus on getting, your savings back up, your monetary value back up. But that's all a personal prerogative, really. If your financial situation isn't that good, then, I don't think it's the best thing to be right now to be looking into financing or leasing any sort of vehicle, period. But when I talk about financial situation, I thought, that encompasses a couple of things. So for me, like I said, I had personal experience in both. So for me, when I got my Challenger Scat Pack, that was a finance, because my financial situation was I had a hand-me-down car that I wasn't paying any payments on. Is basically a hoopty. I wasn't paying any payments on it. I didn't have any payments on it for the entirety of the time that I owned the car. And, I pretty much I think it almost hit about 200,000 miles by the time that I finally just, let the car go and decided it was time for me to get a new car, that being my Challenger Scat Pack. Now, on that same footnote of financial situation, I also didn't just dive right in to my Challenger. I actually saved my money, a lot of my extra money that I had coming in, well, not extra, but a lot of extra money that I had left over from paychecks and whatnot. I saved for about a solid, let me close this. I saved for about a solid 2 years, and even then I was still on the fence about it. Not only did I save for those 2 solid years before I got my Challenger Scat Pack, I was also married at the time. I was paying rent, because we lived in an apartment at that time. So, between me saving money and also covering the, big time financial expenses, like, living and whatnot and eating and stuff like that, I also had to have I didn't have to, but I wanted to have the conversation with my wife about, was this the best choice? The two of us came to the conclusion that at some point, regardless of the time frame, I was going to get a Challenger, because as I've mentioned before in a lot of my other videos, a Challenger was my dream car. We figured that, at some point I was going to get one anyway, so if I had already been prepared for these 2 years in advance, might as well be now. So that's why I say your financial situation comes into effect. If right now, you're focused on, paying, your bills, paying your student loans, paying off, a mortgage, paying off credit card debt, something like that, then, the first thing that I would do in that case is I would focus on paying down all that stuff first before you think about leasing or financing a vehicle, period. That brings me to my second point, was what are you looking to get out of the vehicle you're looking to finance or lease? So for my Challenger Scat Pack, I knew that I wanted to have full control, quote unquote, because, until you pay that car note in full, you never really have full control over the car. But modification purposes and stuff like that, I wanted to have full control over that. I wanted to make that car my own. I wanted to make it the car that I'd always dreamed about having. So that's why I financed my Challenger Scat Pack. Not only that, but because of the career path that I had chosen when I'd gotten out of high school, I didn't have any student loans. It's not a brag. I didn't have any student loans. I did not go to school. I didn't go to college. I went to school. I didn't go to college straight out of high school. So I'm doing that now, but I didn't have any student loans to worry about. So really, like I said before, all I had was my rent and my minuscule bills that, I was taking care of. So I didn't really have any credit card debt. I didn't have a credit card, basically, until a couple years before I bought my Challenger Scat Pack. So my credit and my credit history was still pretty untapped, and it was still pretty new. So like I said before, for me, I wanted to have full control over making that car something that I wanted it always to be. I wanted to make it my own, and that is why I financed my Challenger Scat Pack. A lot of people will make the argument when you lease a car that, you're just renting it, and, you're gonna give it back to the dealership when you're done anyway, so what's the point of leasing a vehicle? Like I said before, that really depends on your personal preference and what you want out of that vehicle. If you're more of a, you know, new car every couple of years person, and you want to get a newer car when the new hotness comes out, then maybe leasing is right for you, because, you know, depending on your time frame and your mileage, you know, you give it back, the new hotness comes out, you go get new hotness. That's what it is. I mean, that's the benefits of leasing. So if it isn't clear already, my Charger Hellcat is in fact a lease, and that's because when it comes to leasing, there are a couple aspects that I thought were better for a car of this, you know, magnitude, a car of this caliber, that I thought were better than going off of the financing. Before we get into the rest of that topic of conversation, first, we're gonna stop at the Hellcat's second favorite place to be besides the open road, and that's the gas station. Right here.
Celebrate summer with Mix and Match. Any 2 Canada Dry, Coke, or Pepsi 20-ounce sodas for just $3.
Get back to the video. Alrighty, we all gassed up again. Hellcat's feeling full. She's got a nice full tank now with probably a little bit extra, but leaving the Wawa, gonna get back to the topic at hand. Also, I don't know about you guys, if anybody is like a gas station loyal, whatever, but I come from up north, so Wawa is always gonna be my jam. I damn near pooped my pants when I heard that they were building Wawas in Jacksonville, so that is choice for Wawa, honestly. Okay, yeah, that was fucking fun, guy. Why would you even do that? Alright, so back to the topic at hand. As I was saying before, it depends on what you want out of that vehicle. So like I was saying, if you're just gonna be someone who gets bored with your vehicle and wants to get the new hotness when it comes out, because you know they're gonna produce some good new hotnesses anyway, then it's probably a good idea to look into leasing. Second, if you're looking into leasing, honestly, I mean, it's easier on payments. So, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I'm perfectly comfortable with the payments I'm doing on the lease of this Hellcat right now. But, I mean, I don't know about you, but me, I definitely don't have, like, you know, $900 to like over $1,000 to blow just on a car note. That's ridiculous. So, I mean, that's, for me, that's one out of hand. I understand you got to pay to play, but that's out of hand. So, I mean, if you're looking, basically my rule of thumb is, if the vehicle is anywhere over the $50,000 mark, I mean, at that point, if you're in the market for a vehicle and what you're looking at is probably over 50 grand, I would say look into leasing. Honestly, that's my opinion. So now for me, I have a Hellcat. I have manageable payments, honestly, like very manageable payments. The dealership was great with me because they took care of me, because, you know, I've done business with that dealership before. I traded in my Scat Pack, so I already had money, positive equity and money towards this money on a lease. So, I mean, honestly, it came out to being not even much of a difference from paying for my Scat Pack. So, in my mind, that's a win. Not only are payments lower with a lease, but also a lot of other things come with a lease that you don't necessarily get with financing. So for me, in my case, I get regularly scheduled maintenance, obviously, but I also get a couple perks in between there as well. So if anything happens to the paint, or if I get a ding or like a scratch or something like that, I have a number that I can call with the lease program for somebody who can come out and either fix the paint, or they'll send me to a shop where they will fix the paint totally free of charge to me. Also, like I said before, if I get a ding or something, or if I get a crack in the windshield or something on the sunroof, I can bring it back to the dealership and they will fix it or replace it with no problems. Probably, unless it was like, you know, totally like distressing damage and it was like shown to be my fault or something like that, then it's gonna be no cost to me. On top of that, if something ever happens to these Laguna leather seats, like say there's a scratch in the seat or something, or like, I don't know, somebody, I mean, I'm probably gonna kill that person first, but you know, somebody sits down with like a knife in their pocket or something and they tear a hole in my seat, bring it back to the dealership, they're gonna fix the leather, or, you know, replace the leather on the seat, no problem, no questions asked. So the car is a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit more insured, because I have full insurance on this car as well, The car is a little bit more covered for, you know, everyday wear and tear. So, you know, like I said, rock chips, dings for if you park with, you know, the general population parking, which I don't, stuff like that. All that stuff is covered under your lease program. Now, obviously, if you are a avid driver like I was in my Challenger Scat Pack before my wife and I got settled into a home, then, you know, I take my Challenger up north back to Philadelphia. I bought it in Maryland, so I drove it immediately back down to Jacksonville, Florida at that point. And I mean, I love to take it on road trips. We took it to, you know, Universal Orlando, you know, we take it to Disney and all this other stuff. Now for the Hellcat, I don't really drive that much, so that is another reason why leasing might be a better option. Obviously, if you don't know, for a lease you get a specific amount of miles to drive per year, depending on your time frame of the lease. So for me, I get the driver's average. I get 15,000 miles a year, and then if you go over that, then it's a specific like, I think it's like a couple like cents, like $1 or something per mile that you go over that. But I am on track to honestly, I'm on track to probably not even hit 15 grand by the time the first year is up on this lease. So, but really that's what it comes down to. Like, you know, are you a big road tripper? You know, do you go out of town for car shows and stuff like that? Do you just like to drive out of the state for a bunch of stuff? Or, you know, do you mostly stay, you know, near your area of, you know, living or business? Are you looking to maybe get, you know, a higher tier car without like the higher tier price, as long as, you know, you're not looking to like take this car and like rip out the engine or something, or in this case like replace the supercharger or something on this car and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So though that's, you know, where you have to, you know, make that decision on whether you think you're going to finance or lease a car. I could probably go on forever about more, you know, things here and there about, you know, financing or leasing, but I'm probably, like I said, I'm going to try not to get long-winded about it, but there's a lot of aspects that can go into whether you think you want to finance or lease a car. I'll touch on one last point. So one last thing, like I probably had mentioned a little bit before, was, you know, modifications. Like I said, for my Challenger, I wanted it to be everything I wanted it to be. So, you know, I did the headers, I did the full exhaust, it was a 6-speed, so I did the shifter swap. I had vinyl on the car. What else did I do to it? I staggered the wheels. I made the rear wheels like a ton bigger. I put on Meteor tires on all 4 corners. You know, I did a lot of stuff to that car. But for me, when it came to thinking about leasing a Hellcat, because this is my first lease, I've never done a lease before. Taking in all the elements in the equation, when I came to think about leasing a Hellcat, you know, really I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do to this car that hasn't already been done by the mad geniuses over at SRT? Like, honestly, what am I gonna do to this car that I haven't already done? Like, what? Maybe a pulley, maybe a new pulley system to give it, you know, 100-something extra horsepower, something like that. If I needed that, then I would have waited and, you know, financed the car, honestly. But I mean, the only thing that I'd probably do to this car, which you can do minor things to this car, like everything I wanted to do to this car is cosmetic anyway. So in the stipulations, you have to bring the car back, you know, as you leased it, and that for pretty much any condition is a bone stock. So there's nothing I want to do to the exhaust. I get people saying it's quiet all the time. Yeah, boy, it's quiet until I step on it and it starts roaring at you. So I don't gotta do nothing to the exhaust. If anything, I would do, you know, an intake, a leg maker intake, or, you know, a B-Woody intake. Something that, you know, I can basically I can take, missed my turn there, thanks traffic. Something that I can, you know, take the stock intake off, and then, you know, if it comes to me wanting to give back the car to the dealership, I take off the leg maker, or I take off the B-Woody, and I put the stock airbox back on. I mean, it's caused no problems to the car, it's done no damage to the car. That's probably the only thing that I really want to do to this car, you know, cosmetic wise, that would be like what you call a major change, I guess. But so for car people, that's a big one, man. So, you know, do you want to buy a car and heavily modified, or do you just want to, like me, do you just want to enjoy having the car and enjoy having the power that it's already given? That's another big thing for leasing or financing. Now I can wrap this up by getting to my last point is, you know, what do you want for the future of this car? What do you want for the future of your car owning or car buying experience? Like I said before, it ties into, do you want the new hotness? As soon as the new hotness comes out, then leasing might be for you. Let me get ahead of this guy. Power up! Anyway, do you want the new hotness when it comes out? Do you want to keep the car that you're in? Or, you know, I mean, that's really all that it comes down to. Oh, I gotta get in the other lane. That's really all that it comes down to, honestly. So, for me, do I want to keep this car? I don't have a straight answer for you guys, honestly. I don't have a straight answer. Right now, I'm enjoying the car for what it is. I love having a Hellcat. I love, you know, just the feeling of being behind the wheel of a Hellcat, honestly. I mean, it's sublime, and that's not a dig at any color schemes. It's just a great car, especially in you know, the Charger variant. It's a great car. But like I said before, do I want to keep it? I don't know just yet. I've also got a lot of time to decide whether I want to keep it. So for your future endeavors, if you want to lease a car, you know, hopefully you're getting a good deal so that, you know, at the end of the term, you're not, you know, paying the depreciation, you're not paying the difference sort of thing. I mean, in my case, with my Scat Pack trade-in and the little bit of money that I put down, I mean, if I wanted, hypothetically, to buy this car, it would be basically the price, a slightly discounted price of, I'd say, a new 2018 Scat Pack today. Well, I mean, no, probably not. It'd probably be like a moderately discounted price of a new 2018 Scat Pack today. So, I mean, that's enticing. Obviously, if I wanted to pay for the car at that point, I have time to save up money so that my payments would be, you know, really low. I'd basically not even see the money go away at that point. But as I keep mentioning before, do you want to try something else? As I've said before, I am a Mopar loyal, but I am also a car guy in general. So, you know, am I going to want to stick with Mopar by the time this lease is over? I don't know. Will another company come out with something that seems interesting that I want to try? It could, and maybe I'll jump into another lease with that, or maybe if it's cheap enough, I might finance and stay with that different car for a couple of years. All of these things, I don't really know, but that is the reason why you have these longer lease periods to decide. So this way, you know, you get to know all the ins and outs of the car, you get to know all the pros and the cons and the quirks and all the things that come along with this car. If you want to know my pros and cons for this car, check out the 5 things I love and the 5 things I hate about a Charger Hellcat, and I'll put that card in the video right here. But anyway, YouTube, like I said, this was a quick little discussion on leasing versus financing. As I said, I don't want to get long-winded into it because I am not a financial advisor. I am probably not someone that you guys should come to for financial advice because I do what is best for me and what is best for my family. So overall, besides all the aspects that come in to leasing or financing, the biggest thing, well, I guess it's the one thing. The biggest thing is, you know, is it the best decision for you and your family? If you have a family, is it the best decision for you if you're, you know, living by yourself? But overall, is it the best decision for you and your family? So that's ultimately, all the other things are a moot point unless you believe that it's the right decision for you and your family. So that's really what I have to say about all of that. All right, y'all, I got my treat. I traveled all the way out here to downtown Jacksonville because I've never heard of this place before, but apparently they make this stuff from scratch, so check it out though. Boom. I got four handmade donuts, so I'll show you what they are later once I get back in the Hellcat, but this better be worth it because there were a lot of potholes I had to brave to get out here. All right, y'all, check this out. Oh, I'm trying not to embarrass myself. Open this box.
Damn, son. Alright, check it out. I got a maple bacon, key lime pie, salted caramel, and original glazed. So that was my celebration for this 4-day, well for me, 4-day Labor Day weekend. So, but first I'm gonna hit the gym so I can actually really indulge in this reward. So we're gonna take this back. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, YouTube, so there you have it. There's my quick thoughts on financing versus lease. Like I said before, all the other aspects that I've mentioned are my biased opinion on, what could influence your purchasing versus a lease. But in the end, it really all depends on if it's right for you and if it's right for your family. So, I mean, in my situation, this was a good idea for me. I had my conversations, I did my calculations, and it turned out that it was affordable. So that's how it worked out for me. It can work out differently for every other person in the world, but that's just my 2 cents. So with that, we're gonna wrap this video up. So remember to please like, browse, and subscribe, especially if you're new. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my new viewers playlist. Check out all my playlists, and pretty soon we'll have more exciting content for you guys down the pipeline. Take care, YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next one.